What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quick. Hey guys, what is up? Daily fantasy quick time. My name is JJT with Komish. Komish, big injury news today. I don't know, but this is a very annoying injury, to say the least. KD is the biggest name in our injury list. I think we should start with him because he's the a big part. I know they only have 2 games this week, but 2 games, make it to just 1 game. That's going to be big.
No, actually, I'm not even thinking about this week. If you own him, I posted what the Arizona Republic reported, which is there is a possibility that he's out for the season.
For the regular season, I think that's what they're looking at.
Actually, it could extend beyond it because we're week 20, right? And it's actually 4 to 6 week timeline. It's supposed to be a grade 2 sprain. 4 to 6 weeks means he's out even in the first round.
Yeah.
So I don't know. When I saw the injury, it did look bad.
He walked a bit.
Yeah, it bent.
Although I saw that photo, that snapshot, I don't know if it's real or Photoshop or what, but I saw that snapshot. The twist did look too good.
The twist, it twisted, but I don't know. It didn't look that bad to my eyes, but he was in a walking boot after, so looks like it could be the season. No, and if you own him, if you're in fantasy and you own him, it's just too bad. And I'm one of them. Jeremy has him also in some
this what's annoying? I have him. And then my opponent in that league had Booker and Chris Paul. So that means today Booker just made up for everything that supposedly my player would have gotten, right?
That's
Booker
true.
got 44. So that's a big blow. And then also in that league, I lost Nick Claxton for tomorrow's game. So those are big injuries.
I'm telling Jeremy that in our FPW leagues, I might not have anything left after this week, and a lot of bad luck, and just really ruins your desire to play head-to-head fantasy. And that's why a lot of people are saying, so much luck factor with head-to-head, but it's just how it is. The timing is bad. I had Jalen Brunson in one league, and as you said, like me, I had KD. I only had 3 players playing today. My opponent had 7 or 8, and then KD gets hit. So that's big, and basically hard to catch up after that. And my opponent did have some players like Chris Paul. So it like Jeremy, and like the second injured player we're gonna talk about, which I think is as serious and as big as KD's injury.
It's
and
Luka.
That's
It's Luka.
Yeah. And my opponent had Kyrie. And so I don't know. Luka's injury, he said it himself. When the player said it's bad, you have to worry.
Yeah.
He said he was not feeling good. He said he will take an MRI. And when the player says that, and it's Luka, who doesn't really, have a lot of injury history, he asked himself, he has to be subbed out and all of those stuff. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for Luka. I'm just praying it's not the season. I'm praying it's just like 2 weeks. Maybe he's there at week 22, hopefully, but I don't know. Not looking good.
Yeah. To add to these injury news, Brandon Ingram.
Yes.
Did not play today, right?
He played today, but by the halftime, he subbed out and reportedly sprained ankle also. So he was out also. No idea how severe it is. I did not see it. I don't see any much report about it, but he didn't come back. So, and we know Brandon Ingram. We know his history and all those stuff. And that's the foot. That's something also that's worrisome for Ingram. Yeah, what's irritating with the Luka and KD thing is there's really no ads. With Halliburton, at least there's McConnell. Maybe you can go and add him. With Ja, there was a Tyus Jones. Maybe you were able to add him if you had those players and you were able to survive or at least stay competitive. With KD and Luka, there's none.
Josh
There's no direct
Okogie.
one. Yeah, but there's really nobody.
It won't be as good as PJ McConnell when Tyrese or Tyus Jones when Ja Morant is out, but he was good.
Come on,
without KD.
Come on, we
not that
not
even early round level, not
even in the same area code. It's just not enough to even stay afloat. That I think if you have Luka, the player who will get boosted a lot, of course, aside from Kyrie, would be Christian Wood, who probably could have been dropped in some leagues because of how his minutes have been dwindling. He played well in the second half, and they had no choice. They had to play him more. He played 26 minutes today. I think that will go up, and that will help him. Maybe he's there. Try to get him. Tim Hardaway. I don't see a lot of Tim Hardaways, but maybe Tim Hardaway is there. I think he's gonna also have to play a lot more. In Phoenix, sadly, I really don't have anybody I will add. If you want Torrey Craig, go add him. But those are just.
And let's relate this a bit to fantasy players because you mentioned Tim Hardaway Jr. And of course, Brandon Ingram. The add there would be Trey Murphy, maybe Najee. Trey is probably not there anymore, but Najee's could be widely available. Also, he was the benefactor when Brandon Ingram was out.
And he started. He started in the second half for Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, he had a big boost in his value. Now, the big thing about fantasy playoffs, though, sometimes trying to stay afloat, trying to add these players, some of these guys, you have to also be careful because some of these guys can hurt you a bit. If you maybe add, Tim Hardaway Jr. and he suddenly shoots 1 out of 10, right, from the field, that's going to be a big blow to your field goal.
Yeah.
Right? I know. So you have to think twice. That's just what I'm saying. Look into what category you need and think twice or thrice and see if it really fits what you're trying to do. In the fantasy
we're
playoffs,
in day 3. Yeah, we're in day 3 already this week, so 4th day coming up. So more or less, your stats, your categories that you're maybe close. So if, let's say Tim Hardaway or Talen Horton-Tucker, for instance, is there, I think twice because if your turnovers are close, he's basically gonna lose that category for you. So will he win 2 or 3 for you to replace that? You have to ask yourself that. Now, if you need multi-category help, maybe Talen Horton is the best. He's a good option. He loses you turnovers, but might give you 3 or 4 others. That's okay. But if not, as Jeremy said, you have caution in adding. You have to check carefully. Tim Hardaway is one player like that. And also, in a way, injured players could be good or bad. Like KPJ is out tomorrow. KPJ has been shooting like 2 out of 11 and then 1 out of 8 the other day. He's been hurting field goals. So now you put him in your IL plus. It opens. You don't have to drop him. It opens up something. It opens up something. Maybe that will help your field goals. Maybe there's still time to salvage that. So that could help you. Sometimes returning players could hurt you. Let's say Yusuf Nurkic. He returned today. He basically played, crap. Today.
He had 17 minutes only.
Yeah, he's gonna be in minutes. That's my point. He's gonna be in minutes restrictions for I don't know how long. He's not gonna play that well because his conditioning is not there. And now you don't have him in your IL plus. Do you drop him after stashing him for so long? That is something you have to ask yourself, which for me, I think is the right move at this point of the season. You can't wait for him the whole week to play 17 and 18 minutes. But it's tough because you basically stashed him. And now
you waited
now you
for
have to
him.
drop him.
Yeah. The reason I also say that is because in that same league where I had KD and I had Claxton, I was leading field goal. I was up 6-3, 5-4 after yesterday. Field goal was one of the categories that I'm really good at because it's around, I have KD, I have Gobert, I'm not really as bad, even though I have players like Jabari. They don't hurt as much, right? And I made some moves today. I made an ad today, which was Josh Richardson, and then he shoots 2 out of 9. And then add that to a player I picked a few weeks ago, which was Isaiah Joe, who shot 1 out of 8. And then you add a player like Matisse Thybulle, who shot 1 out of 8 as well, or 1 out of 6. Now my field goal is dead. I don't have KD to compensate a bit, right? That's going to be a big problem. So I look at the, overall picture. It doesn't really look good because Claxton's going to be out. So that's another what? Another 5 out of 7 or 7 out of 8 type of field goal that's out. So it's going to be hard for me to.
One thing I would suggest to Yahoo. I like the Fantrax games restriction for head to head. I like that a lot, and maybe that will help try to negate the big schedule advantage of some players, of some teams, which I would give it to them. Maybe they prepared for that, they planned for that, but sometimes it's just too much, too much advantage, plus the fact that it's more luck with the injuries involved. But with Fantrax having, like, let's say 38 games a week, you can only play 38. It allows for more even playing field. And with what Jeremy is saying, if KD is out, maybe, it doesn't hurt as much because your opponent, if his best players would have some bad games here and there, you might be able to survive, because that's one game less. Like Roto, it's basically head to head with like Roto. So I like that concept, and maybe something that hopefully, that's a solution to the head to head dilemma that fantasy has right now.
Yeah. Other injuries, Jalen Brunson still out.
Yeah, that's a big one. Questionable. I don't know what's up. Wendell Carter Jr., I've seen him dropped also. Yeah, I would do that too. If you don't have an IL, I would drop Wendell Carter also. And Brunson, no. I will not drop Brunson. He's questionable for tomorrow. But it doesn't look like...
The difference there in the value, in terms of fantasy value, is just too far, right? Wendell Carter, easier to drop. There are replacements. Mo Wagner is going to be there. He's probably going to be available if, a couple of days ago, he would have been available. Bronson, though, way too good of a player to drop. Plus, he's a little more day to day. I don't think it's very as serious as the other injuries that we talked about. But yeah, it's just the timing of this.
The timing, man, good. The timing, and that is, I have him in the league where I'm number 1, and I'm already down because I said my opponent is Dame, is Kyrie. Yes, Dame and Kyrie, and I have Steph. So I said, okay, let's just fight it out. And then I lose Jalen Brunson. So even worse. The timing is just bad.
And yeah, of course, there are lots of things like these that happen. Brooklyn, for example, will sit out, like I said, Claxton. They're going to sit out Cam Johnson. They're going to sit out Royce O'Neal. Of course, I think of all the players... Yeah, those 3 players, Dinwiddie, Cam Johnson, and Claxton, are the more fantasy relevant players. Detroit, we've all known, after a good game, they sat out Alec Burks, they sat out Bojan, could be shut down for the rest of the season. I mean, things like these are starting to happen already as early as week 20.
And Utah.
Yeah, Utah, Walker Kessler was out yesterday.
Clarkson,
well, Clarkson has been in and out, right? We've already talked about him. But the Kessler, sit out the other day, or was it yesterday? He sat out yesterday.
The last game. But they supposedly has an illness. I don't know if that's the new term for tanking, but I don't think I don't think he should be sick for like a month, right? So hopefully he'll be back soon. Clarkson, yeah, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. I think you have to drop Clarkson. They're not gonna... They don't seem like... It seems like they're doing to him what Detroit is doing to Bojan, in a way. Slowly, but might be eventually like, okay, he's out for the season. I'm just saying, I mean, his injuries are very mild. Finger and all those stuff. But, they might invent something. So Utah, you have to watch out for Utah. But Detroit, just want to mention something about Detroit. Killian is coming back. Durant is coming back. Let's see what's that effect on Jaden Ivey, who's been playing so well without Killian Hayes, and what will that do to Marvin Bagley and James Wiseman? Both have been great fantasy ads, and managers might be thinking like us that hey, it's for the rest of the season because it's Detroit's tanking. But now Durant comes in, that kind of uh, makes it more crowded. No, will we add Durant? I don't really think you should add Durant. If ever, I would say Marvin Bagley is the best player there. Which is really funny to say that now.
Told you.
But
Did I
but
tell you the few weeks
no,
ago?
but Bojan's out, so that's the reason. I think he's the only one who can play power forward among the three.
No,
And
he's the guy. I know Duran has the potential to be a fantasy stud, but of all these guys at this point in the season, I think Marvin Bagley has the best opportunity to be a fantasy stud throughout the rest of the season.
no, the only reason that is true is because he's the only one without any competition at the power forward.
Yeah, that's
He
it.
can play with both of them, while the two of them, Duran and Wiseman, cannot play with each other. So that will be a big edge,
Now,
especially that Bojan is out. So
the,
that's a big
the,
edge.
I think the dependency of Marvin Bagley is on Isaiah Stewart, who's also out
Yeah.
still. So we'll see. That four guys there, that four big man rotation would be very interesting towards the end. But yeah, add Marvin Bagley. I think Wiseman could still have some little value if you need some rebounds. But again, interesting to see those two, Durant and Wiseman. Another player I saw and just realized it's on the team that I had KD is Jalen Williams, who has been out for a couple of games already.
Yeah.
I initially thought it was just a rest, back-to-back type of thing, but looks like it's real. He missed both of those games, which is
At
annoying.
least.
The timing is annoying.
Yes, I also own him in one league, and they said at least 2 games, and the two games are up. So let's see if he comes back the next game. He doesn't seem that well. He's in the bench and he looks animated. Maybe he's, just resting the wrist.
Well, OKC, you could put that in the Utah zone wherein they're gonna slowly probably rest some of these guys from time to time. They've said it
for
openly with
listeners,
SGA.
they would ask why Jalen, why not KD, why Jordan Clarkson, why not Markkanen, why this and why not that. I think how this works is that if a player really has something,
Yeah,
may not as mild as whatever, but something that they can play through. But usually they can play through. But at this point, they don't think there's a need for the player to do that. Remember Josh Giddey's shutdown reason last year?
yeah,
It's like he
same
was
same
tired
thing.
or something. He was burnt out or too much. I mean, wear and tear or whatever. He was not ready for
But
the
it
whole
was
season.
it did look like a minor thing, and then they
Yeah,
just decided to shut him down.
which is what is scary about Jalen Williams because he's also a rookie. They might give a same reason like that. So they will say, why are they playing SGA and not playing this guy? Maybe there is just that SGA's injury can be managed, and this guy's injury maybe is something that they want it to be fully healed before they play him. So maybe something like that. But we're not saying they're going to shut down Jalen Williams. But it could be a while. No, there's a possibility that he will be out for a while. No, not just 2 games. So that
It's
is something
still early. It's still early. I think the point I'm trying to make is that there are going to be things like these, and the timing of these things would not be as good, really. And it's a little early, I think, for our liking. But yeah, we know at some point things like these will happen with these teams. We're not talking about teams who are in the playoffs or in the play-in. We're talking about teams who, even before the season started or even at the early part of the season, we knew or we felt that they're not going to compete for a play-in position. It's just so happened that OKC and Utah were good enough teams to be up there. Now it's time to pay. It's time for payback. If that's the right term for it, payback against the fantasy managers. It's time for them to rest them.
Sometimes you can predict these things, but sometimes you just can't. Like right now, AD's still playing, but LeBron's not. But if you ask us to predict before, I would say LeBron did have a big chance of being shut down. No, we did predict that. But AD also for us is an injury-prone player, but he's still playing. So there are things like that that Kristaps played so well today, 40
I was
something
just about to
points.
say, who would have
You
thought,
can
right?
you can I mean at this late in the season, even Miles Turner is still there. So there are other players that we think would be there, but they're not there. So it's just how it is. But there will be trends, no, like KD. Some people mentioned about being the age, and
Yeah.
that makes the everything like the sprain. They feel like it's not just a freak accident. There's just a little more wear and tear. It's weaker. That's why
Yeah.
it's like that, which is very possible, which is very true. So something to consider when drafting next year with veterans and rookies.
Lamelo is
Lamelo,
probably the
yeah.
best example. 3 ankle injuries in the same season. Um, you know, and one of those, injury was the same, pretty much similar to the same
But
ankle.
I'll ask you this: during the draft, you had the choice of Halliburton, Lillard, Harden, and Lamelo. You would say, "I will pick the one that's safest from injury." You probably would say Lamelo, right? Because Lillard just came from an injury. Harden hasn't finished the season for a long time.
Probably,
And
yeah.
Halliburton had some injury history also during college and everything. Lamelo has none, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, right? I mean,
Yeah,
this is the
yes,
first
none. Yes,
season
none.
trade. So you would have chosen, if I want to be safe, I'm choosing Carl Anthony Towns and Lamelo Ball.
Yeah.
I'm safe. And
Yeah.
then,
No one's safe right now. No one's safe. I
yeah.
think that's the point. No one's safe. And yeah, and it's the playoffs. I think it's just time to look at it one day at a time. I know it's, unless there's a major player who you should add, like maybe the Mo Wagner is a good player, good enough player that when you add him now, he's gonna help you throughout the week. Unless there's that type of player, um, still you still want to keep your moves until at least one move until the
Well,
final day.
unless you're 1'8" or 2'7", maybe try to
Yeah,
make some moves. Yeah.
yeah. Try to make
Like
some
me.
moves, but still, that's harder though, because I would really prefer saving a move until the judgment day so that I won't be able to I would still be able to make some adjustments. Although, just to remind you guys, judgment day this week is just a 6 game slate, I think.
Yeah.
So there could be limited options there for you, especially if managers have been adding and dropping players throughout the week. A lot of the players would be stuck in the waivers. It should make it more difficult. So that's the challenge here. But yeah, it's the fantasy playoffs. It's head-to-head format, and it's exciting. Even despite all of these, it's still exciting. You just hope it doesn't happen to you. I think that's the point here. All right, that's it for today's quickie. As always, follow us on our socials. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.